Well, happy almost New Year. Sir Owen Disney here, and it is Tuesday night, and we're going to talk about WWE Raw. Now, the reason why, obviously, this video is going out late is I had to work yesterday, so I wasn't able to watch it. And before you ask, I'm going to tell you right off the top, there is no NXT and SmackDown this week because SmackDown, I read the results, and I really didn't care. Honestly, and NXT was a clip show that was celebrating the year in NXT, so I just wanted to do a Raw video tonight. That's what I'm doing. This Raw was in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, and of course was to be hosted by Edge and Christian. So we start off the show with a video package, a very well done video package, like you would expect anything less from the WWE production staff. Talking about April 11th, 2011 was when Edge was forced to retire because of his neck. And we come back to the arena, and lo and behold, excuse me, Tony Chimmel's in the ring. He brings out Christian. And then, of course, he throws out his Rated R Superstar thing that everybody used to give him crap for back in the day to bring Edge out. And Edge, of course, is wearing a Sami Zayn t-shirt because why not? And no issues with that, obviously, putting over the NXT champion. Now, I will probably side with Kevin Owens, thinking on what he said on Twitter might be the truth, that he probably would be wearing one of his shirts if it wasn't for the fact that it's sold out right now. I happily wear mine. As you've already seen in the Sip and Snack I did last week. Christian's excited to be there. It was the last Raw of 2014. He wants to end it with a bang. So he proposes a special peep show that, of course, will totally reek of awesomeness. Edge questions this choice and says, maybe this should be the cutting edge. Because the peep show sounds like something that a 1920s pervert would be paying a nickel to watch. Christian's like, yeah, pretty much. He's like, that's disturbing. So they're going to combine the two for the first ever cutting edge peep show. Or the SEPs. So they bring out the announcement that Seth Rollins is going to be their guest. He's going to face Roman Reigns later tonight. Also, it's made an announcement of a champion versus champion match between the Intercontinental Champion Dolph Ziggler and the United States Champion Rusev. And later tonight, Daniel Bryan will be making a very historic statement. Because he's been kind of teasing on Twitter early in the day how people come to a crossroads, and basically, in not exactly those words, but pretty much saying that he's building towards a possible retirement speech. But we'll get to that when we get to it. So, of course, before this can go any further, for the benefit of those with flash photography, it's time for a 5-second pose. Here comes the WWE Champion. Brock Lesnar comes out with Paul Heyman, and Heyman doesn't understand why a man with a broken neck and another man who's had a series of concussions would even dare be in the same arena as someone as predatorial as Brock Lesnar. But Brock has no desire to end the careers of Edge and Christian. Why? Because you can't end something that's already dead. He discusses John Cena and their match at the Royal Rumble, and of course this brings Cena out. Cena says he's not going to knock Brock into 2015 because if he does so, then Brock will have an excuse at the Royal Rumble to why he did not perform on that night. He has two things he offers tonight. One is a gift and one is a resolution. His resolution is to take the WWE Championship from Brock Lesnar. And he drops a Pirates of the Caribbean reference. Says, we savvy? And I was like, really? So, this isn't the end of it. He obviously has a gift, and the gift is for Paul Heyman. He grabs him by the lapel, and Brock, of course, attacks as Brock sees red like a bull, and he attacks, and of course, he gets picked up for the AA. Brock lands on his feet, and he powders, so that's the end of that. Okay, opening segment. I had no problems with it. Edge and Christian still entertaining as always. They're always going to be entertaining. I like how this is setting up Brock's segment for the night. I'm sure this isn't the last time we'll see him. We got our first match of the evening. It is our champion versus champion match. Dolph Ziggler taking on Rusev. Match was good as always is when you get a Dolph Ziggler match in 2014, without a doubt. Some may disagree, but I got to admit that Dolph Ziggler is definitely over, and it's something that he really needs to be pushed. And I think if something didn't happen later on in the night, Dolph Ziggler may be somebody that would have a really good chance to win the 2015 Royal Rumble. So, we pick it up midway through. Dolph hits a missile drop kick off the middle buckle, charging splash, gets tossed up by Rusev, charges in with a 10 punch. Rusev shoves him off, ducks his round kick, name dropper connects 1-2, and a kick out. Cross chop to the throat of Dolph, and backdrop float over. Dolph lands on his feet, super kick caught, and Dolph gets flipped upside down, lands face first hard on the canvas, goes for the corner splash, he misses, super kick connects 1-2, Rusev kicks out. Goes for the zigzag, Rusev grabs the rope, swats him off, boot to the knee, and he tosses Dolph shoulder first into the ring post, stomps him viciously in the corner, and Rusev is disqualified for not breaking the 5 count, because I got 5, but he doesn't have 6, so he's DQ'd. Dolph's under the bottom rope, he gets locked in the Accolade, and that's the end of that. He lets go, Ryback comes out, makes a save, a right hand, ducks the clothesline of Rusev, and meat hook clothesline, Rusev bombs out. Building this Rusev-Ryback match. They're really solid in this Rusev-Ryback match. There's going to be a bald musclehead that's going to beat Rusev, and unfortunately it's not Kurt Angle, but it's going to be Ryback, at least is what it looks like at this point. They're really invested in Ryback, and they're putting a lot into him, and I really think that he is going to be the guy that beats Rusev. Now, the match with Dolph was really good, and for those of you that have not seen it, I don't know the date off the top of my head, and I don't want to really look it up on camera, but I will say that Dolph and Rusev had a really awesome match on NXT a while back, so if you get a chance to check that out, definitely do. They worked a lot on the house show circuits before Rusev made into the Rusev character you have today. And yeah, check it out. It's Dolph Ziggler versus Alexander Rusev on NXT. Really good match. I really enjoy the chemistry between these two. Well, this, of course, leads to a commercial break. When we come back, Ryback's still in the ring. He says there's been a misunderstanding about him. Obviously, we're playing up the fact that CM Punk said he's dangerous to work with, and he does not listen when you're trying to explain things to him, and he's pretty much a dumb F-word. So yeah, basically, Ryback's going to let us into his head a little bit, and kind of maybe a dark, twisted place. We'll find out in a second. He said his first live event was at the Thomas & Mack Center in Las Vegas when he was 12. As a matter of fact, that night he was the guest bell ringer, and at that moment, he knew he was hooked. He had to be a wrestler. Now, 10 years ago, he did the $1 Million Tough Enough Challenge. That was done on SmackDown, and he was eliminated. And they show video footage of Al Snow eliminating him back when he was the silverback Ryan Reeves. After this, he went into a deep depression. Apparently, he was so ashamed that he wouldn't even talk to his family, and he worked in some barbecue joint in Louisville because, obviously, when you get out of the WWE development, well, you're kind of stuck in Kentucky, so that's pretty much back in the day. That's how it worked. So, he would come home every single night alone to his empty apartment to a stack of WrestleMania DVDs that hopes that he would return to the ring someday, remembering what he had lost. Well, Ryback found this book called The Secret, a book about positivity. And immediately his life changed 100%. He got re-signed with the WWE. He debuted with the Nexus in one of the greatest stables in our modern time. And of course, they show the awesome footage the night that John Cena got punked out by the Nexus, including when then being known as Skip Sheffield, who delivered the not quite meat hook yet clothesline to John Cena towards the end of the entire beating. Now, in 2010, everything was all hunky-dory. He was on top of the world, 28 years old. In Hawaii, he broke his ankle in 3 places. When he tried to stand up, he broke his leg up to the kneecap. Doctors said he would never wrestle again. Even 3 doctors said this. He shows the scar to the audience. And he says, now he's back. Now he's the Ryback we know today. And now he's here to go after Rusev. This isn't about USA versus Rusev. This is about one guy kicking another guy's ass. He says that Rusev is basically all about negativity. And Ryback, of course, is about positivity. And something that Ryback likes to eat is negativity. So he's going to eat the negativity of Rusev, and he's going to turn it into positivity. And, of course, feed me more chants from the DC crowd. really getting the crowd invested in Ryback. Came off a little bit forced, but it did kind of sound like there was a lot of truth to what was being said. I'm pretty sure there was, 100%. You can make up stuff like that. I don't think it was something that was made up. I do think it was something that was very true and from the heart. And when you take something of yourself, even if it's dialed up a billion levels, like turned up to 11, you basically get a lot more out of it. I know, because obviously, Sir Owen as a character was a complete and total tool, but it was my personality turned bad and turned up to 11. So the best gimmicks in wrestling always come out of something that is real. So yeah, realism works. It really does. Ryback basically speaking from the heart here. And this feud with Rusev, this is actually getting the crowd to really want to believe in Ryback. This is the push that Ryback had before, lost it, did the Paul Heyman guy stuff with Curtis Axel, had the heel run, and now he's back to being a babyface again. He apologized for all his indiscretions, and now he is on a collision course with Rusev, and I think this is going to work really well. I'm very much looking forward to this feud. I don't know how well the matches are going to be, but we'll see how they work out. Nikki Bella in action next against Natalya. Match was short, straight and to the point. Natty get the discus lariat, and Nikki's on the ring apron. Natty knocks her off into the arms of Tyson Kidd. Kidd catches her, puts her on the ground. And, of course, she eats the baseball slide drop kick, tosses her in. Nikki takes advantage of the fact that there's a distraction here, because Brie goes right to Tyson and says, "What are you doing? Why are you touching my sister?" And Natty's like watching this the whole time. She's distracted. She walks into that not quite Lex Luger forearm, the loaded forearm, and nails her with a rack attack in 1, 2, 3. They're not really building anybody for the women's championship right now. Obviously, when it comes down to the Divas division, you have a lot of people that are off in limbo. Natalya looked like she was being built up. She was beat rather handily on this Raw, so I don't know if that's going to work. Naomi's off in another storyline right now, so yeah, the Divas Championship is kind of stagnant. Hopefully Charlotte gets brought up sooner rather than later. Speaking of Naomi, The Miz and Damien Mizdow are backstage. Naomi comes in and hugs The Miz and says, "Thank you," and Miz like, "Yeah, for what?" And it's like, I talked to your producer, and I know he pretended like I didn't even exist, but I said we were friends, and he said we could work on future projects together, and Miz seemed genuinely happy about this, really, and Naomi was like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's great, Naomi," and he's like, "You've taken a lot of crap, especially from Jimmy, but you actually came through, Miz. And I appreciate everything that you've done for me. And I wish you good luck in your match tonight." Because for some reason later on tonight we have Miz and Mizdow's rematch against the Usos. So, yeah, that's going to end well. This is fine. Segment hits really close to home, but I won't say more than that. Yeah, so we'll see where this goes. Speaking of that, tag team title match, we have the Usos taking on your current reigning and defending WWE Tag Team Champions, The Miz and Damien Mizdow. So we pick it up midway through the match as The Miz is going for the figure 4, gets countered to an inside cradle, and that's basically turned into the fact that for some reason, and I still don't understand why, Jimmy Uso has been watching a lot of Conan on the WWE Network, so he locks in his version of the Tequila Sunrise, which I'm going to name sooner rather than later. Mizdow nails Jimmy from behind. He tosses Jay, basically sidesteps him, tosses him to the floor. Miz shoves Damien Mizdow into the super kick, and flash roll up from Miz, 1-2, and a kick out, skull crushing finale, flips him off, super kick connects, and tags in Jay, Samoan splash, Miz gets the knees up, goes for the skull crushing finale, 1-2, and a kick out. As he kicks out of the skull crushing finale. So he pounds away, goes for the skull crushing finale again, but he gets elbowed out to the side of the head, tagging to Jimmy, comes in, super kick, double super kick party for the tag team champions in this case. So Jimmy heads up top, Samoan splash, 1, 2, 3, and the Usos once again are the tag team champions. Naomi's down to celebrate. It feels great to end the year as champions. There's going to be some sort of a JR's barbecue party, and everyone's invited. Apparently Jerry Lawler's invited as well. Jimmy says family is everything. He puts over his brother, and he puts over Naomi, and he says, Miz likes to say, trying to play people, he's the one that got played in the end. Yeah. I don't want the Usos to be tag team champions. The only way I have an issue, I don't have no problems with this, is the Usos, after the match was over, got obliterated by Connor and Victor. Like, that would be the debut of the Ascension. But no, they're not going to give us that right away. They're going to do something stupid with the Ascension, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So, yeah, the Usos won the tag titles with no fanfare, and now Miz and Mizdow can have their elimination at the Rumble, and they finally build that blow-off match between the two. You had to get the tag titles off of them, I understand that, but I don't necessarily understand why it was done tonight. You don't have any teams in the tag team division. Slater and Gator are out right now, obviously, because Slater is kind of working through some personal issues. Los Matadores are a joke, and they're not contenders at all. You could bring it, like I said, you could do stuff with the Ascension if you really want to, but they're not really ready to push them yet, obviously, because they're just coming in the company. Goldust and Stardust are a good, like, standby team, like a good standard to put in for tag team title matches, but we've had the Usos against Gold and Stardust a billion times, and yeah, the matches are good, but they're repetitive. So, yeah, there's really nothing you can do with it. You keep the titles on Miz and Mizdow, have them drop them at the Rumble to the Usos. I guess they just eliminated a step. So that's pretty much the only thing I can see with that. So, I'm curious to see what happens with Miz, Jimmy Uso, and Naomi in 2015. I really think that this might go somewhere, or it might not. I don't know. Who knows? Next segment is interesting, another true-to-life segment. Cesaro's in the ring, and he says that 2014 should have been his year. Very true. Won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal WrestleMania. He had the world in front of him, and he pretty much had everything to gain. But for some reason, the powers that be didn't think that he connected. He says he doesn't connect, and he delivers. He doesn't connect, he delivers. He delivers every single time he steps foot in the ring. He doesn't care if he connects with the WWE Universe or not. He doesn't care about fancy, elaborate entrances. He doesn't care about pyro. He doesn't care about anything like that. He cares about delivering in the ring. No one can hold a candle to what he does in the ring when he steps in these 4 ropes. 2 things. Number 1, sometime you can look at it in 2 different ways. Number 1, and I've done this before, when you're out there in the heat of the moment, cutting a promo out in front of a live audience, sometimes you step over your words. And then you rebound and work everything back. But sometimes a writer will tell you what to say, and this could be either one right now, so I don't know what they're doing with Cesaro at this point. I know what this led to is something that I'd really like to see happen. I know I called Cesaro coming out and Rusev turning the U.S. title in the European Championship and Cesaro taking offense to this and going after Rusev, and that would have been awesome, but no, that's not what happens. He corrects himself quickly and says 4 sides. Obviously, he was trying to say 4 sides instead of 4 ropes, and it's not a boxing ring. And he says, I challenge anyone in the back to come on out, make my day, and try me. Triumphant return of Bad News Barrett. Barrett comes out, which of course, one of the first thing he does, he has his tremendous looking cape, he takes it off and he yells, boom. I guess in this case it made sense if he said bang instead of boom, because the first thing he says, it's me, it's BNB. And he even actually apologized to DDP on Twitter and said, I'll put over the DDP yoga. Are we square? There's the savvy right there. So, yeah, longtime fans will probably get that. He says, Cesaro, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. You may not care about connecting with the WWE Universe, but I assure you, before the night is over, something will be connecting, and that is my bullhammer up the side of your shiny little head. So we get a match that I've been wanting forever between Bad News Barrett and Cesaro, and they blow it off in 2 freaking minutes. What we had was very well done. I very much appreciate it. So, of course, Barrett has had his shoulder operated on, and Cesaro goes to work on him. He hits the Vader crossfaces. He goes to work with a lock on the shoulder, And Barrett punches his way out, ducks the right hand, Cesaro with the German suplex, and he tries to roll with it, gets elbowed to the side of the head, comes off the ropes, Cesaro mows him over with a clothesline. Rains down the forearms, whips him in, ducks the forearm, back kick from Barrett, boot to the side of the head coming off the ropes, gets a 2 off of that, goes for the pump handle slam, and of course, float over, Cesaro lands on his feet, double leg, goes for the giant swing, turns into a half crab, Barrett gets to the bottom rope. So he drags him back in while he's grabbing the ring apron, a very nice heel thing to do. He goes to the eye, Cesaro is blinded, he readies the bullhammer, decimates him with it, 1, 2, 3, and the match is over. I like this match to go 15 minutes at least. I don't like this being a short match. I don't know what the hell they're doing with Cesaro at this point. I really have no idea what they're doing with Cesaro. I think they're really underutilizing him, and hopefully they do something with him. I like the fact that Barrett's back. I like the fact that he's a babyface and he can deliver bad news to the heels. I have no problem with that. The problem I have with this is I really wish this could have been someone else. Why couldn't this have been like... Sorry, no offense, but it could have been like Justin Gabriel. Look, and Justin Gabriel could have done this. This could have been like Titus O'Neil. That would have been a good idea because Titus O'Neil obviously has nothing to do right now. Excuse me. So why don't you have Titus O'Neil come out, run his mouth, and cut the, not necessarily the same promo Cesaro but basically cut a, see what I mean? Cut a promo basically saying, like, you know what, you overlook me, I mean, I'm the real deal, I mean, I was the main man in 2 different tag teams, and now I'm out on my own, and I dare anybody to come out here and try to face me, and here comes Barrett out to the ring. That would have worked. Cesaro didn't have to be utilized here, especially when they're doing this Cesaro-Tyson Kidd team, or the Masters of the WWE Universe, depending on how they want to utilize that. If they're doing anything with that team, put them in NXT. Really, seriously, put them in NXT and, like, sick them on Kalisto and Sin Cara. Put them against the Lucha Dragons. I'd love to see that match. Lucha Dragons versus Tyson Kidd and Cesaro? Yes, please. Give me that right now. But excuse me, I'm thinking right now that's probably not the direction we're going here. And the Cesaro-Tyson Kidd team is probably just a short-lived thing. Hopefully, I'm wrong. Hopefully in 2015 this becomes different, but we'll see what happens. Luke Harper cuts a promo, very Bray Wyatt-esque. He basically says he's a product of our environment. He's a social pariah and a nightmare come to life. And tells everyone, sweet dreams. Yeah, I love Luke Harper. He's amazing. And this segues to a match with Jack Swagger, which actually went a whole lot longer than I thought it would, to be totally honest. So, he hits the gator roll midway through the match, into the side headlock. Swagger punches his way out, ducks the clothesline, big boot, and he charges him with a knee in the corner, ducks the clothesline, Swagger with the clothesline, 1-2, and Harper kicks out. So Swagger with a diving clip, takedown, 1-2, and a kick out, gut wrench powerbomb, of course. Harper elbows out of it, sit out powerbomb, caught double leg to the Patriot lock. Harper kicks him off, and super kick dims his running lights, 1-2, and Swagger kicks out. Goes for the waist lock. Harper punches his way out, backs him in the corner, and he gets his ankle picked into the Patriot lock. Harper gets to the ropes. Goes for the Swagger bomb. Harper with both boots up right in the jaw of Jack Swagger, and Swagger walks into the discus lariat, 1, 2, and 3. Harper wins a good, hard-fought back-and-forth match. Kind of surprising they give this so much time, honestly. This looks like a match that would end rather quickly, but it didn't, and it actually worked quite well for me. John Cena's in the back with Edge and Christian talking about the past, and eventually Christian brings up the father situation, and yeah, he bombs out. Edge, of course, is treated a little differently. Edge is thanked by Cena for being one of the few decent people left in the business, and they hug. So yeah, we got that building towards the fact that Cena and Edge had mutual respect for each other, even they had that huge feud back in the day. Our next match is Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. Yes, they blow it off, these two, in a singles match on the final Raw of 2014 with zero build-up. Yeah, great job, WWE writers. That's really intelligent. So, we pick it up off the middle point in the match, and Rollins runs in for the forearm in the corner, and he comes off the ropes, gets caught with a tilt-a-whirl slam, and no count only there. They trade punches on their feet. Rollins shoves off and ducks the clothesline, leaping clothesline by Reigns, and a punch sends him into the corner. Clothesline into the corner, toss him chest first into the buckle, backdrop Uranagi connects 1-2, and a kick out. So Rollins cuts him off with a knee, charges in, eats the back elbow, catches the boot, and of course, Roman with a nice leg trip actually worked quite well. Pulls him up to his feet, and you don't powerbomb Billy Kidman, and you don't try to pull Seth Rollins to a vertical base, because if you do so, he'll flip, land on his feet, and hit you with an enziguri kick, Ghetto Blaster, Bad News Allen style, and that's exactly what he does. Stack up pin 1-2, and Roman Reigns kicks out. Walks into the Avada Kedavra, and 1-2, Reigns kicks out yet again. Goes for the curb stomp, Reigns misses it. Goes for the spear, Rollins leaps frogs over that. Roman tosses Rollins over the top rope, lands on the ring apron. Leaping kick goes up top. He goes for the knee strike, misses. Superman punch, readies for the spear. And of course, Big Show's on commentary and providing really great commentary, putting Roman under and Seth Rollins over, like putting Rollins over like Rover during the entire commentary. I actually really like that. And of course, he pulls him to the outside. Referee calls for the DQ yet again. And at this point, he tosses him over the table. He shoves the table over top on him. And of course, he's like pinned under the table. After this is over, they really treat this like he's really hurt. Like Superman is hurt. So yeah, that's it. Like I said, I don't really think he's Superman. Obviously. But yeah, he's hurt. So obviously Michael Cole sells it like, oh, his legs were pinned underneath the table. So yeah, Big Show is thanked by Rollins after the commercial break, and he says now that the tables have turned, he's feeling quite festive, and he tells J&J to spread the word. There's going to be a New Year's toast tonight on the Cutting Edge Peep Show, and who knows, maybe I'll invite John Cena. So we see Bray Wyatt in an ambulance. This was filmed after the match last week, when Bray did the stretcher job after the match with Ambrose, the Miracle on 34th Street fight. He says everything must come full circle. He says we've reached the point of no return. It's way too late for Dean Ambrose now. Simply put, he can't be resuscitated because he's already dead. Bray now has his soul. So next week we get an ambulance match between Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose next week. Obviously, we're building Bray Wyatt for his eventual match against The Undertaker if it does end up happening at WrestleMania 31. Here comes Daniel Bryan. Something everybody's been waiting for all night. Bryan comes out. Is he or isn't he? Is he done? Is he not? We're about to find out. He says, who would have thought a B-plus player from Aberdeen would main event WrestleMania? The fans did. That's why he got that opportunity. To, in one night, defeat all of Evolution, Triple H, Batista, and Randy Orton, and walk out the WWE Champion in front of 75,000 people. 5 days later, he marries Brie, the woman of his dreams. It's the best week of his life. And then, in an instant, it changed. His father passed away, and he wasn't there because he was wrestling. He needed life-changing, career-changing surgery. But the doctors couldn't fix him. He wanted to be performing in that ring. He saw what Dolph Ziggler and Sting did to the Authority at Survivor Series, and he wanted to be a part of it. He wanted to be back in the ring for his fans. But the time comes when you have to make a decision. Fans, of course, are like, no, Bryan, don't! Is it worth it or not? So he asks a simple question. Is my career over? No. Am I ready to come back? Am I going to be competing again? And will I be in the 2015 Royal Rumble? Yes. 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 Daniel Bryan is back. And all bets are off. All bets are off, folks. Because there's 3 different things you can do with Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. You have Bryan win the Rumble. Face Brock Lesnar. In a truly Matt Classic that I'm positive would be something that would be a true David versus Goliath match that I really want to see. Which, unfortunately, takes away the Dolph Ziggler story because him versus Lesnar would be about the same situation. 2, you have Cena beat Lesnar. You have Rollins cash in on Cena. And you have Bryan face Rollins at Mania. And yes, please. Or 3, you have Bryan get to the Rumble but get eliminated and we do a match with Bryan at WrestleMania. Like, who could Bryan face at Mania? Could he have a singles match against Brock Lesnar without a championship on the line? Yeah. Could he have a singles match against Seth Rollins without a championship on the line? Yeah. Could he have a match up against Rusev, maybe? Oh yeah, that would be totally fun. I totally believe that Rusev and Daniel Bryan would be a really fun program if they really want to go that direction. But it's anyone's guess what they're going to do at this point. All we know is the ball's in motion, so Daniel Bryan can win the Royal Rumble. Whether he does or not is anyone's guess. Edge and Christian are in the back. They're playing with the kazoos, which is awesome. Miz and Mizdow show up, and Christian plays Miz's theme, which is hilarious. Miz demands a rematch for the WWE Tag Team Championships because obviously they were robbed. Edge grants him a match, but it's not against the Usos, and it's not for the championships, but it's next. Gee, we were promoting a debut all night long. You have a tag team that actually said, we want another match, and you give them another match, but you won't name their opponents. So, gee, I wonder who the Miz and Damien Mizdow are going to face tonight. Oh, I love booking logic. Of course they face off against the Ascension. Victor and Connor don't look as crisp as normal, but they still look rather 80s. They're 80s, really 80s. Road Warriors and Demolition mix. I think they look fine. Crowd was kind of like lukewarm on them, not really knowing much. Debuting the Ascension in DC was probably a bad idea. Debuting the Ascension maybe at like an Amway Center Orlando show, whether it's Raw or SmackDown, would have made a lot more sense because more people would have got it. But yeah, this match is short, straight and to the point. Mizdow eats the STO from Victor, tag into Connor. They hit Fall of Man after knocking the Miz off the ring apron, and that's the end of that. So yeah, the Ascension have a very lukewarm debut, and hopefully we'll see more better things from Victor and Connor. They could have came out and jumped the Usos after they won the titles. They didn't do that. They had them beat the Miz and Damien Mizdow for no reason. Okay. We still don't know if they're faces or heels either. Yay! Gotta love when booking logic makes sense. Rollins not only invites John Cena, he also invites Brock Lesnar to show up. So yeah, we're gonna have a really fun final segment. So we go to the Cutting Edge Peep Show. Edge and Christian says the show totally reeks of awesomeness. They bring out Seth Rollins. Rollins starts waxing poetic about the matches with the Hardys and the Dudleys that made him want to be a wrestler, and obviously they are heroes to Rollins. He's basically being rather condescending. Edge doesn't believe it at all. Christian says you're being lame. Rollins says 2015 is a new year and a new Seth Rollins. So he brings out the Big Show, because why not? He calls out John Cena to the party. Cena doesn't show up, and he orders Cena to come out, and he says, you know what, if you don't come out, you're forcing my hand. Well, Rollins hits Christian with a briefcase, and he's done. We don't see him anymore. Like, he is done. You'll see him again on SmackDown this week. Edge shoves Rollins. What are you doing? And, of course, Big Show goozles him, grabs him, puts his head against the briefcase, and basically just tells him to bite the briefcase. In essence. Obviously that doesn't happen. He has his head against the briefcase, which is more of a concerto than anything else. So, of course, at this point, Rollins is threatening to curb stomp Edge on the briefcase. Cena runs out, Rollins stops, like, no, don't come any closer. Don't you dare get in the ring. He places a foot on the back of Edge's neck. He says, don't do anything stupid. So, he makes mention of Edge being a husband and a father, and he also says that Cena could make happen Edge not being able to ever hold his child ever again. Some really sick stuff, and I liked every second of it, honestly. If you don't give me what I want, this will happen, and the blood will be on your hands, is basically what he's trying to say. So obviously, it comes down to the fact that Seth Rollins wants the authority back, and he's willing to kill Edge in order to do so. Yay, Survivor Series was less than a month ago. It was fun while it lasted, wasn't it? So John Cena, of course, being the humanitarian that he is, agrees to bring the authority back. And Rollins like, what'd you say? What'd you say? Like, no, we'll get out of here, give him a mic. And Cena, of course, says with bulging veins that he's going to bring back the authority. Just to save Edge's life. So, Cena's brought the Authority back. And Rollins like, you know what? You know me better than that. I'm going to kill him anyway. So he gets ready to curb stomp him, comes off the ropes. He gets tackled by Cena, and Cena attacks, and the numbers game is way too much. He gets KO'd by the Big Show, and then he gets curb stomped by Rollins, and he's laid out. Everyone leaves. They go head up the stage. Brock and Heyman show up on the stage. Heyman shakes hands with Rollins. Brock doesn't do anything except for go to the side. He doesn't look at Rollins or anything. He just goes to the side. And the music hits of Triple H. Triple H and Stephanie come out with champagne flutes, and that's how we end the last Raw of 2014 with the return of the Authority. So what was Survivor Series about? Really? Like, all this, like, the storyline, like, everybody, like, breaking their backs night in and night out, busting their ass in order to get rid of the Authority. Dolph Ziggler fighting everyone in order to get the Authority off television. Couple weeks. That was it. Sting came back. Obviously, we're building a Sting and Triple H. I know that happens, but what do you do? Seriously? You're not going to do dueling, like, owners? Not doing that again? We're not doing, like, Raw and SmackDown general managers again? No, that stuff's way in the past. Like, what did Survivor Series mean now? Seriously. Like, from a storyline standpoint, what does Survivor Series mean? Not a damn thing now. And now Dolph Ziggler's momentous rise is now snuffed out like that. God knows what's going to be done to Dolph on Raw next week. Our first Raw of 2015. I like Seth Rollins here. A lot. A whole lot. Rollins is awesome here. Smarmy. Evil. Flat out freaking evil. Like threatening to kill Edge in order to get the Authority brought back. So basically saying, if you don't bring Triple H and Stephanie back to television, I'm going to kill this guy on national television. And then he's going to go to jail. And then, of course, he'll be in a federal pound-me-in-the-ass prison. And it won't matter. But no. Obviously, you can commit manslaughter on national television just as long as it allows to bring back your heel stable. I think it worked. Well, not a little too long. Edge was talking about passing the torch on Twitter. That was truth. And it sucks that Edge can't work, because this would be really fun, because if you had a way to do this, I would say Edge and Christian against Noble and Mercury, and then eventually have Edge face Rollins. But that can't happen. I can break out EWR, or Promotion Wars, or break out my old action figures, and we could do that. But in present-day WWE, that will never happen. Edge will not be able to get back in the ring. Apparently Christian has now had a retirement as well, so Edge and Christian are retired. So the Authority are back, which is alright, but way too soon. I mean, again, like I said, with what could have happened at the Rumble, with the tag team titles. With the Usos winning at the Rumble, and that being the Miz-Mizdow split. And then their elimination of each other at the Royal Rumble. The actual Royal Rumble match. You're eliminating a step. The Authority coming back the night after the Royal Rumble made more sense, but they're eliminating several steps, so they're doing it several weeks in advance. Because we got a long time until the Royal Rumble. We got several weeks till the Rumble. And now you have the Authority back on television. And life is going to be a living hell for the faces of the WWE. Which is fine, but like I said, from a storyline standpoint, what the hell did Survivor Series matter? Seriously. What did it matter? Dolph Ziggler beat everybody. Awesome. Sting showed up. Worst Scorpion Death Drop in the history of Triple H. Fine. No worries. The Authority here's gone. For like 3 weeks. It's like John Cena. It's like when the Nexus beat John Cena and took him off television. He came back that night. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I'm tired of Authority angles in professional wrestling. I'm sick and tired of heel Authority angles. I don't even want a general manager. I just want wrestling, and I know I'm in the minority. I get that. I totally understand I'm in the minority. I don't want to write 20-minute promos or condensed 20-minute promos on these freaking notebook pages. I want to talk about wrestling matches. I'm a commentator by trade. I'm a manager of champions. Or I was. I want to watch wrestling. Now, granted, I get that. I get that on NXT. I haven't watched Lucha Underground yet. And I probably will be watching Wrestle Kingdom 9, and I damn sure can't wait for TNA to come back. So I can actually have wrestling to talk about again. And not necessarily just storylines. But I will state right now, some of the matches tonight were a step in the right direction. Like, if I had to tell you right now, let's talk about, like, what we had on the show. Shall we? So, you had Dolph Ziggler and Rusev. Awesome match. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed these two's chemistry. Very much enjoyed it. And then we'll forget about the rest. Luke Harper and Jack Swagger was a lot better than I thought it would be. A lot better than it probably should have been. Barrett and Cesaro did not have any time. For time frame, it was a joke. Hopefully, they get like at least 10 minutes down the line and we get a really good knockdown drag out between the two. Like, I want to see Barrett against Sheamus again when Sheamus returns. I want to see Cesaro against Sheamus. Those matches are awesome. And I want to see like a three-way between the three of them because they all beat the hell out of each other and that's entertaining for me. They safely beat the hell out of each other, which is even better. Reigns and Rollins was fine. Fine. That was it. Fine. Reigns proved he knows more than people give him credit for. I'll give him that. I will. He's not ready to be a main eventer yet, but he'll grow into it in time. Or he'll get forced down our throat until they're forced to do something that they probably should do anyway, and that is turn him heel. I know what you're thinking. Why would they do that? Well, it depends. If he ends up getting booed like Batista did at the Rumble, I would say turning Roman Reigns into a heel and making him a badass heel and sicking him on John Cena may not be a bad idea. Especially if they're going to put the title back on Cena at the Rumble. I think it pretty much endgame ends with Rollins curb stomping Cena and winning the championship that way, regardless who he faces at WrestleMania. I don't think Brock Lesnar is going into WrestleMania with the championship, and at this moment, I really don't care. I don't. Obviously, it's more of a detraction to have your champion off television. Obviously, sometimes you don't have your champion working. Hogan didn't work the house show circuit, not regularly. It was special. It was important. When Hulk Hogan was on the show, everybody was watching. He wasn't at every show. Don't forget, there were WWE shows back in the day that the tag team titles would main event, or the Intercontinental title would main event, because back when those titles actually meant something. Ric Flair, on the other hand, obviously, when he's the NWA champion, would defend against anybody, anywhere. So, completely null and void what I just said about that. But yeah, I don't want Reigns and Lesnar for the championship at WrestleMania. I don't want that to happen, and I don't think it's going to, and it makes me very happy that it doesn't. Ryback's getting pushed to the stars, and I think once he gets past Rusev, I think you sick him to the World Championship again. I think this time, the run that he could have had, I think it actually goes through. I think Ryback will be a World Champion within the next 2 years. I don't necessarily think it'll happen in 2015, but I could be wrong. Nothing with the women's division right now. It's a total joke, basically being promoted for Total Divas only, which of course comes back to television, I think, this week. I'm not sure, this Sunday maybe, or next Sunday, I don't know, one of the two. It might be the Sunday of the Globes, I'm not sure, I don't remember. Don't really care. I'll watch it, but still. I mean, my girl Summer Rae's going to be on the show, but Paige is, so that's kind of cool. So yeah, it was there. I mean, Rollins and Reigns was fine. Giving it away on television without any build-up, that's a WCW play, and I'm a WCW guy, so that's weird to say. Usos against Miz and Mizdow was a fine match. Don't agree with the finish at all. Cesaro and Barrett, like I said, give it a lot more time. The Ascension should have went out and destroyed the Usos after the match was over, and actually, to add to it, destroyed both teams. Destroyed all four men, left them laying, and proving that welcome to the wasteland, WWE... We are Victor and Connor, we are the Ascension, and we will rise, and they will rise with the WWE Tag Team Championships raised high in the air. I always thought the Ascension should come out during a three-way dance with the Usos, the Miz and Mizdow, and Golden Stardust, and just lay everybody out. Leave them all laying. Make it a no contest or do it after the match is over. But yeah, the Ascension should have been debuted a lot better. I didn't like that at all. Daniel Bryan's back, which is awesome. The only problem with this is, for a lot of Dolph Ziggler fans, probably going to drop Dolph's push to the moon. Probably just going to push him to a little higher in the air. It's not going to necessarily push him to the moon. Hopefully it does, though. Excuse me. Hopefully they do the right thing with Daniel Bryan here. Could be, like I said, anything. Give him Rusev, or give him Seth Rollins, or give him Brock Lesnar. I mean, I've wanted to see Bryan and Lesnar since last year, so hopefully that will happen, whether the title's on the line or not. Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose are going to have an ambulance match. Bray's going to win, and of course, they're building him towards the match against The Undertaker. Whether it happens or not, it's anyone's guess. I'd rather see Bray Wyatt and The Undertaker, which I've already talked about for months. I said that needed to be a match. A match that Bray needs to have is a match against Sting. I think that's a better match, and there'd be a lot more to that match, honestly. So yeah, that was it. I like evil Seth Rollins. It's fine. But like I said, what matters the last couple weeks? It's like I said, it's like the ending of Dallas. Just kind of like woke up and it was all a dream. Triple H and Stephanie come out of the shower and it's like, hey, what are you guys doing here? And that was the end of that. So yeah. Dolph Ziggler, what? Sting, what? Nope. That was how we ended the show. Yeah, really lopsided edition of Raw. So hopefully 2015 is better. I can't wait for NXT next week. I guess I gotta do SmackDown, whatever. Impact returns to Pop very soon. Very, very excited about that. I don't know if I'm going to do Lucha Underground. We'll see. Maybe 2015 I might bring more wrestling to this channel. Who knows? It depends. I continue to watch my old WCW on the network because that's what I use the network for. NXT and Nitro and WCW and ECW. Not WWE because I don't care. I was a bigger WCW guy than a WWF guy back then, so there's always that. I watch the occasional Kurt Hennig match here and there, maybe some Rick Martel stuff, but by and large, usually watch a lot more WCW, a lot more cruiserweight WCW, stuff I can call. Like, I love doing commentary of those matches. Always been fun. That was Raw for this week. Tomorrow, we're going to bring the vlog of randomness back to Reunion this year. We're going to show you guys another thing, the last thing I have from Reunion, and that is when a drill sergeant decided a little green man was going to lead us all in a game of Simon Says. Sarge Says coming tomorrow, and the first video of 2015 for a regular segment will be a sip and snack, and we're going to go with a sip here, so that's going to be coming as well as Friday. We're going to kick into The Woman in Black. So that will be, The Woman in Black 2 will be our AJ's movie reviews. Spoiler alert coming up very soon for Foxcatcher. So that's coming up. And we're going to be filming a lot of videos very soon. A lot of movie reviews to knock out a lot of things that are out currently that we need to get reviews on. I will also state that we have predictions coming up for the Screen Actors Guild, for the Golden Globes, and for the Critics' Choice Awards. They will be coming up very soon as well in the next several days. So that's going to be coming up. Ashley will be returning next week. We got that. More Halloween Horror Nights news coming as soon as I get it. And, of course, brand new Versus coming this Sunday. We're going to have a really fun time on our first Versus of 2015. So that's going to be coming at you. AJ and myself will be doing the New Year's thing basically tomorrow. We're going to be filming videos all night long. So that's what we'll be doing. So thank you guys for watching the wrestling content on Pop for 2014. I will join you yet again next Monday, unless my work schedule provides that to be impossible. With NXT and SmackDown, well, of course, Tuesday will be Raw. Wednesday is your vlog of randomness. Thursday will be Sip and Snack. And Friday, AJ's movie review. Saturday, Gaming with Ash. And Sunday, Versus. Ben will be returning to Pop in 2015. That's pretty much a guarantee at this point. A lot of movie coverage coming in. Celebrity Apprentice returns in a couple weeks, so that's going to be coming to Pop. Of course, Halloween Horror Nights and the pay-per-views are going to be recapped as well. So all that still to come in 2015. So, as always, if you like these videos, tell your friends about them, leave a comment, do subscribe, help spread the word about Pop. If you haven't yet, go to Facebook, click like on our Facebook fan page. Very simple, just takes a second, it's Sir Owen Disney Pop. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, it's at Sir Owen Disney. I do follow Fridays, as a lot of my friends out there will probably know. I'll put you guys over and your various Twitter handles. Also, if you'd like to friend request me, you can do so on Facebook. It's Owen Disney. Last but certainly not least, if you'd like to talk WWE with me, want to talk TNA with me, want to talk the Indies with me, ask me questions about my former wrestling career, or if you'd like to talk Disney, Universal, Halloween Horror Nights, you have ideas for Versus, Sip and Snack, Vlog of Randomness, or if you would just like to talk about the award season, or The Apprentice, or if you'd like to become a podcaster yourself, send your content to SirOwenDisney@gmail.com. So in the meantime, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching, and until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I got to say about that.